that mean I get the first question? Thank you, Dan.
That's all right, mate.
The goals by Pablo coming off the bench.
Mm-hmm.
As a striker, is it hard to stay fresh and just go on in a moment's notice, or does nothing change if you're starting or coming on in the 30th minute?
Hard to say. You'd have to ask Pablo. I think every individual player has their own context and version of events. I think he was very open to the idea that we were going to rotate a little bit and look to utilise depth. Obviously, he was one of 5 changes we made at that point in the game. I think he was totally comfortable with the idea of trying to make an impact when he came on, and obviously he did. So, really, really pleased for him and the mentality he showed, and honestly, just very, very happy with the nature of today's performance and the nature of the quality of attacking depth that we have, having Sammy start the game. Obviously, the way we're utilising Marcus and Pablo, it's rare to have one high-level forward, and we really do feel like we have 3. So very pleased with the attacking output we have.
Do you often forget that Marcus wasn't even 21 until today?
I made a joke about that earlier. Yeah, it's kind of crazy that he's been here this long and he's literally just turned 21 today. So, he's. I think I was still a kid when I was 21, so he's still got some more growing up to do. But no, I said to him when he came back on, I was like, "This is your birthday present right here." I was like, "Because if it wasn't your birthday, you'd be sitting there and I'd be wrapping you in cotton wool for the rest of tonight." We got him back on the field. Obviously, I wanted him to get a goal on his birthday, but again, delivers with an assist and another great performance.
So you've had 3 clean sheets now in the last 4 matches, and you've used different defenders essentially each time, except Dante and Carlos back to back. You mentioned the depth up front, but have you developed quality depth at the back too?
Yeah, for sure, and huge credit to Skargs and Tristan stepping in. Obviously, the nature of how they stepped in with Dante and Carlos doing as well as they have was a little contingent on a couple of injury issues, and that's probably not as easy as it is for Pablo just to come in off the bench. So huge credit to the two of them, the way they've approached the short notice of all of a sudden being back in the mix. And again, I think it's generally been a position that we haven't rotated a great deal. I think you want to feel somewhat settled and you want players to feel like they're almost the dynamic of those relationships at the back are really, really important. It's a strange thing to say, but Nick and Tristan have trained a lot together in matchups in over the course of training this season, so I feel comfortable with the two of them back there. Obviously, we'd love to be in a position where we have a fully fit Carlos and a fully fit Dante as soon as possible as well. We'll feel like there's a real wealth of depth throughout the entire team.
Dan, how hard is it to stop a penalty kick?
When it's hit as well as that and in the corner, pretty difficult. Mark was at full stretch, and again, you'd have to check with Nobes whether the scout was that was the direction he was going to go. They obviously do their get together as goalkeepers and go through that process earlier today to make sure that he has any and every bit of information he possibly could on the potential takers. But it's a fantastic save. Obviously, he has to guess the right way, and he does that part, but then he's at full stretch, and it was funny, he had a couple of fantastic saves in training this week, and I kind of joked to Mark to say, like, it's been a while since I've seen you had to make a really good save. Because he's a wonderful shot stopper, and I don't know that there's been a ton of opportunities for him to showcase that yet this season, and obviously he did it in a huge moment where, with respect to American, I felt we were definitely 2 goals the better in the first half, so to make sure we protected that with the penalty save was huge.
When you scheduled American at this point in the season, was it with this idea, get some people some additional playing time kind of work in, or what was the idea behind it?
No, the idea was to continue to have a strong strength of schedule, and they'll have improved that for us today. They're below our strength of schedule average right now, so it was with an intent to have a good non-conference opponent, which they were and which they are. They're well placed in their conference, and as is often the case, once we beat someone, we hope they go on and win every game between now and the end of the regular season and help us as much as they possibly can. But they're a well-coached side, and we expected it to be a tough game, and I think a credit to how well we played to kind of nullify them and have an incredible level of control throughout the course of 90 minutes was probably a better reflection of how well we played today, as opposed to any significant weaknesses that they have as a team.
You find yourself back in the top 3. What does it say about the respect that your program has gotten over the last few years?
Yeah, I wanted to remind the players that we started the season at 16, right? And regardless of where RPI is right now, like, they've earned the 13 places we've improved by, right? Like, we may have inherited that 16th place ranking at the start of the year from the body of work that our 2024 group did, but they've built on that. This team now, I think, is in a position where they believe the hype, believe the ranking, believe that we're capable of something really, really special, and know that we have to stay really humble and make sure a day like today goes according to plan. And no different when we hit Georgia State, no different when we hit ODU, and then we obviously know we have a tough 3-game stretch with a trip to Kentucky, Marshall back here, and then another trip to South Carolina. So we want as much in the bank as we can possibly get, and today was important, and so will Georgia State and the rest of the stretch on the way in.
Dan, going back to defensive depth, you've made a lot of changes, but Tice has been a guy that has been in the starting lineup just about every time.
Yeah.
Why has he been so important to be in the starting 11?
He's versatile. He's adaptable, and again, I think every season we evolve and we'll change as we get a better understanding of what we have. And again, if you were to really break down the structure, formation, the style in which we've got into our attacking structure, we've been figuring things out for a while. And with where we got to, probably leading into UCF, it was still. I don't want to say a case of trial and error because results have been good, but I still think we were looking to find something that we really, really felt put everyone in their best position and optimizes what we have within the group. And Tice has remained an ever-present in whatever adjustments we've made, whereas at times it's been to the detriment of someone like Cos had to step out for a little bit. It's been to the detriment of other defenders and other players that maybe aren't quite as versatile as his, and he's continued to build really good equity within the group and be one of those mainstay features for us back there.
What does it say about you guys that you're still figuring it out and you're number 3 in the nation and first in the Sun Belt?
Yeah, it means I got to get better at making decisions earlier in the season probably. No, I think it's part of the evolution and it's part of the job that I enjoy the most. I think in order to be the most effective team, you have to create a structure and a system that optimizes the individuals that you have and places as many of your best players in their absolute best position. Our challenge has been there's been so much depth that first and foremost we've had to figure out who that player is, and then from that perspective determine, okay, how do we put them in positions to play to their strengths and limit their weaknesses as much as possible. And sadly, if I was better at my job, it wouldn't take 11 games, but it has. So that's a process we go through every year. Some years it's a little bit clearer than others, and I think the reason it's been a little bit more challenging this year is a testament to the quality of depth that we have.
When you go into a match planning to use your depth, what does it do for guys down the line knowing that opportunities can be there even though you've got a starting unit that's obviously very strong? Yeah,
I was happy for a lot of the guys that came in and stayed in that perspective, and we had talked to the group, and I think it's important that when I preach that we have a quality of depth, that there are actions that show it, and maybe the team had been a little bit more settled and the rotations hadn't been quite to the extent they were today, but someone like Tyler Zapata, for example, a conversation before today that so that he knew there was a really, really good possibility that he was going to come in the first half, and I was honest enough to say to him, if the game is going the way that we wanted to, I don't intend to bring you out of the game. It was nice to be in a position where Nacho can get some rest. Obviously, Cos didn't have to do the 90, and he's a wonderful technical player that's probably been unfortunate that Nacho and Cos have just done as well as they have in that recent stretch where the two of them have played together. So it's important that those players remain engaged and bought in and feel like they are contributing to the success of the team right now, because again, we'll need them again. And obviously we hope that we're injury free, but Carlos and Dante have proven and shown that other players need to be ready, and when you think you're on the outside, you're never as far away as you might think you are. So hopefully that was a little indication that we have a ton of confidence in the quality of depth and that everyone stays ready this week.